People keep talking about the 2026 Nissan Kicks like it's just another cheap subcompact with a new paint job, but that's not what actually happened. Nissan rebuilt this thing on a larger platform, gave it more power, added available all-wheel drive for the first time in the U.S., and loaded it with tech that doesn't scream budget anymore. This is Scott from CarlandTV, and today we're breaking down what the redesigned Kicks actually fixed, what it still gets wrong, and whether it's finally smart money in the entry-level SUV game. But first, do me a quick favor. Tap that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. It ain't required, but the list clicks keep this thing rolling and make it easier for me to keep dropping solid car content straight to your screen. Now let's get back into it. The redesign that actually matters. Calling the 2026 Kicks new is only true because the real reset happened for the 2025 model year, and the 2026 basically rides that wave with small tweaks. The important part is the hardware. Nissan ditched the old setup that made the previous Kicks feel like a slow commuter appliance and moved to a bigger second-generation package with way more usable space and a more grown-up stance. Under the hood, the big fix is the engine. The new Kicks runs a 2.0-liter four-cylinder paired to Nissan's Xtronic CVT, and it's rated at 141 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque. That is a real jump over the old one. 6-liter Kicks that always felt out of breath the second you merged onto a fast highway. Power is still daily driver level, but it no longer feels like the gas pedal is sending a suggestion instead of a command. No cap, that alone changes the vibe of the whole vehicle. Then there's the headline upgrade people begged for: available all-wheel drive. The Kicks never had it in the U.S. before this generation, and now you can actually spec it if you deal with rain, sketchy road surfaces, or you just want better traction when life gets messy. That also bumps the Kicks into a more serious cross-shop conversation with stuff like the Trax, Kona, and Corolla Cross, because it stops being the automatic FWD-only compromise. Inside, Nissan fixed the cheap-out feeling by making modern tech and safety part of the baseline story. Safety Shield 360 is standard, and upper trims can run dual 12, 3-inch displays, plus available driver assist features like Pro Pilot Assist. Practicality got real, too, with up to about 30 cubic feet of cargo space behind the rear seats and roughly 60 cubes with them folded, which is genuinely strong for this size. All that sounds great on paper, but paper never tells you how it drives, how the CVT behaves, or whether the value still holds when you price it like a real person. So that's where the conversation has to go. Is it no longer underpowered? Power used to be the Kick's biggest punchline, and I get why. The old setup was a 1.6-liter four-cylinder with 122 horsepower, and in testing, it needed about 10.1 seconds to hit 60 miles per hour. That is the kind of acceleration that makes a freeway merge feel like a group project where nobody's leading. With the redesigned Kicks powertrain, the numbers finally move into normal traffic territory. The 2.0-liter four-cylinder is rated at 141 horsepower and 140 pound-feet, still paired to Nissan's Xtronic CVT. In car and driver testing, the all-wheel drive Kicks ran 0 to 60 inches 9 seconds, which is basically average in this segment. Motor Trend has the front-wheel drive version closer to 8.9 seconds, and that tracks because AWD adds weight and drag. So yeah, it's quicker than the old one, but nobody should pretend it turned into a rocket. What matters is where that puts it against real cross-shops. A 2026 Chevy Trax is rated at 137 horsepower, but makes 162 pound-feet of torque, and car and driver saw 8.8 seconds to 60 with that 6-speed automatic. Translation in human terms: the Trax can feel perkier off the line, even with less horsepower, because that turbo torque shows up earlier. Meanwhile, stuff like the gas Corolla Cross is still not exactly fast either, with car and driver testing showing 9.2 seconds to 60 for an all-wheel drive model. This whole class is basically adequate unless you buy a turbo trim in something like a Kona or CX-30. So when someone asks me if the Kicks is still underpowered, my answer is simple. It's no longer the slow kid getting picked last, but it's also not the one carrying the team. The redesign fixed the worst part, and that sets up the bigger question people actually care about: how that CVT behaves when you drive it like you have somewhere to be. The CVT question. Here's the part that makes people squint at the spec sheet, because Nissan and CVT in the same sentence have history. The Kicks runs Nissan's Xtronic CVT, and the reason they stick with it is simple: it helps mileage. It keeps the engine in the sweet spot. And it's smooth in normal driving when you are not treating every green light like a drag race. The honest truth is that the bad reputation came from older generations and a bunch of real complaints and failures, especially across certain Nissan models in the 2010s. Nissan even did warranty extensions on some vehicles in years, and you can still find official paperwork and owner portals about CVT warranty extensions. That does not automatically mean the Kicks are doomed, but it does mean nobody should hand-wave the concern away like it is internet noise. What's different now is that Nissan has been publicly pushing the message that the newer CVTs are revised and durability tested, including millions of miles of testing, and they've updated designs over time. In the real world, the Kicks CVT feels fine when I drive it like a normal person. Roll into the throttle, it builds speed smoothly, and around town, it is genuinely easy. Punch it hard for a pass, and you get the classic CVT thing where the revs jump and hang. Some people hate that sound and feel. I get it. It can feel like the car is working overtime, even when it is doing exactly what it was designed to do. If you want the best odds long-term, treat heat like the enemy. Keep up with maintenance. Do not ignore fluid service just because someone says lifetime. And do not hammer it up long grades at full tilt all day and act surprised later. That's not fear-mongering. That's just mechanical common sense. Once the transmission question feels acceptable, the decision shifts to what you actually live with every day, which is the cabin, and whether the price matches what you're getting. Interior quality versus price. Cabin tech is where the Kicks can either look like a steal or like you lost the plot. On the 2026 model, Nissan made the big move of putting a 12.3-inch infotainment screen on the base S, and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are part of the deal, not some upgrade to feel normal tax. That alone fixes the old Kicks problem, where the interior felt like it was stuck a generation behind the rest of the class. Step up trims and the Kicks starts dressing like a more expensive crossover. The available dual 12.3-inch setup gives you a larger driver display paired with the center screen, and it actually changes the vibe behind the wheel. Add in the available intelligent around view monitor and Pro Pilot Assist, and suddenly the Kicks is doing legit daily driver convenience stuff that used to be reserved for bigger money. Safety Shield 360 being standard across the lineup helps too, because it means you are not gambling basic active safety just to keep the payment low. Here's the sarcasm part, because it's deserved. The moment you start stacking the nice options, this thing can run up fast. Nissan's own starting MSRP spread is about $22,430 for the S front-wheel drive up to around $28,765 for the SR all-wheel drive, and with packages, you can push it into the low to mid $30,000 range, depending on how you build it. At that point, the Kicks better feel tight, quiet enough, and solid in the hands, because buyers start cross-shopping stuff a size up, and they do not care that it began life as the affordable model. So the way I look at it is simple. If the goal is a modern interior with real screens, wireless phone integration, and strong standard safety at low 20s money, the Kicks is finally playing the right game. If the build creeps toward 35 grand just to get the cool features, that's when the value argument gets shaky, and the comparisons get way less forgiving. Is it better than the Chevy Trax? The Trax is the obvious cross-shop because it's the other newish, looks expensive, costs less than you'd expect, small SUV everybody keeps seeing in parking lots. Under the hood, the Trax runs a 1.2-liter turbo 3-cylinder at 137 horsepower and 162 pound-feet, and it uses a traditional 6-speed automatic. The Kicks has the opposite vibe mechanically, a 2.0-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, 141 horsepower, and 140 pound-feet, paired to Nissan's CVT. On paper, that looks like a wash, but on the street, the torque hit is what you feel first, so the Trax can step off the line with more punch, even though it's down on horsepower. Where the Kicks fight back is the stuff you actually live with. You can get all-wheel drive on the Kicks now, and you still cannot get all-wheel drive on the Trax at all. If you deal with heavy rain, sketchy roads, or you just want the extra traction insurance, that's a real advantage that is hard to, away. Fuel economy is close, but the Kicks tends to edge it with EPA numbers around 28 miles per gallon in the city, 35 miles per gallon on the highway, and 31 miles per gallon combined in front-wheel drive form, while the Trax is usually around 28 city, 32 highway, 30 combined. Not a massive gap, but over time it's nothing. Cabin-wise, both can be optioned to look way nicer than their price suggests, so the deciding factor becomes how you feel about the drivetrain personality. The Trax feels more normal when you lean into it because the 6-speed shifts like a regular car. The Kicks is smoother when you're cruising. But if you mash it, that CVT can hold revs and sound like it's negotiating with the laws of physics. Some people do not care. Some people will hate it in the first 5 minutes. So yeah, if someone wants the quickest feeling response around town and they do not care about all-wheel drive, the Trax makes a strong argument. If traction, efficiency, and a more refined daily rhythm matter more, the Kicks has a pretty clean case, and that tees up the only thing left that matters. Whether it stays a good deal once you price it like a real human. The honest verdict. If I'm buying a Kicks, I'm buying it for the exact reasons Nissan finally made it make sense. The space is legit for the footprint, the tech is modern without feeling like an afterthought, and that new 2.0-liter setup fixes the biggest everyday complaint the old one had. Add available all-wheel drive, and it stops being the automatic, cheap commuter-only pick. It can actually be a practical small SUV for people who drive in real weather, haul real stuff, and do not want a massive vehicle just to feel secure on the road. But here's the almost part. The CVT is still the personality of the car. Drive it normally, and it's smooth, efficient, and easy. Start driving it like you're trying to gap someone leaving Costco, and it's going to do CVT things. Revs hang, noise climbs, and it can feel less confident than rivals that use a traditional automatic. Some folks will never care. Other folks will be annoyed every day. I can't pick your tolerance for that. The other almost is pricing discipline. At low 20s money, especially in a sensibly equipped trim, the Kicks is a smart buy. You get standard safety shield 360, a big 12, 3-inch center screen, even on the S, and real cargo room for the class. Once the build creeps into the high 20s and you're sniffing the low 30s, the Kicks has to compete with bigger, more powerful options, and the value math stops being automatic. At that point, the question becomes whether you love the Kicks package specifically or if you just got carried away clicking options. So my verdict is simple. If you want a small SUV that looks current, drives like a normal person's daily, and offers all-wheel drive and solid efficiency without blowing the budget, the Kicks is finally worth a serious look. If you hate CVT behavior or you're building a near-luxury-priced Kicks, I'd walk and go shop the next tier up.